Well, thanks for coming back to another episode of Predator World Hunting. This is Season 1, Episode 8. Today's episode's all about coyotes that appear out of nowhere. It happens all the time. Just was one of those days. This first stand, we set up on this fence line that I love. Called in a double the previous year. They've fed right in. It is one of my favorites to set up. So I'll take it to the action. A lot of good habitat here, and coyotes, they could just show up from anywhere. This one was sure hot.
Hey?
This one was sure hot.
Well, I didn't even see him. I saw you moving your gun. So then I went and got the camera on.
You didn't hear me? Oh, you probably didn't hear me lip squeak.
I couldn't hear your lip squeak.
Yeah. Those ones over there howling. We lasered it, and it ended up being around 68 yards. So it was coming good, and it was close. Well, fur in the truck. Not a real long drag back, so that made it nice. Let's go do it again.
Nice work.
Well, that coyote just appeared out of nowhere. Luckily, I had seen that stand before, and I knew that they would either feed down that little gully or come over the hill on that pasture land, and it came over that hill. Surprised Jeff, though. This next stand be forever ingrained in my brain. It's where the previous year I shot my quintuple in 12 or 13 minutes. Single and then 2 doubles, and they were hot and stuck around. It was just an awesome stand I'll never forget. And this, I don't know what it is about this area, but it holds coyotes. And this time was no different. Check it out. It's fairly wide open here, and you would think when you see this much open space that those coyotes can't surprise you. But early on into the call, Jeff and I spot one up on the hill. It starts coming, and he moves, sees another one out there that I'm not even watching. I'm watching the other coyote feed down the hill. Jeff sees this coyote, and it starts to leave. And I'm still watching the first one. Jeff's trying to watch where it goes. He's going to move the camera. And then a third one just appears out of nowhere. They just keep coming out of the woodworks, but they're not coming. At this point, Jeff's trying to get my attention, and he's telling me to shoot this coyote when it was standing there, and it starts to kind of take off. And then I finally see it. I think he's telling me that the first one feeding down the hill, and I'd lost it in the bush. So this one runs up to the fence line, and it's sitting there. It's a little bit far. I know that first one's still coming, or appears to be coming. So I didn't want to wreck. I'm thinking double in my head instead of get the first one down. So I'm waiting for that one. I'm hoping that I can switch sounds and get this one committed. But it's, you got to make a choice, and you gotta pick your horse. And here's the first one we seen that was on the top of the hill. It's finally made its way down, and I'm just waiting for it to present a shot, but it's not coming at the call. They're all staying pretty wide. Well, at this point in time, the other one that was out there, it decided to take off where the third one that had come, it decided to take off where the second one was. And this is the only coyote left. So I figure, like, it's now or never. I don't think it's coming. And it decides it's going to sit down and just hang out there. So I'd had about enough of that. I factor the wind, get a range on it, and yeah, it's now or never. I don't know what was holding up those coyotes, why they weren't coming and just hanging out there. They would only come to a certain distance and wanted to stay away. I don't know if it was the wind come up in the afternoon, but at least we got some fur in the truck. Maybe some missed opportunities, but that's the way it is. This next stand, captain's on, and I love last stands. That stand right at the end of the day just seems to produce. I don't know why, but all these years, that last half an hour, 40 minutes of legal shooting time when the sun's going down, it just seems to be the magic time. We can't night hunt in here, so I have no idea what coyote hunting in the night is like here or anywhere. But yeah, it just always seemed to have some action. We'll take it to it. Well, it doesn't get more prairie and wide open than this, right? You can see, it's flat. There's no way a coyote can come up and surprise us in this, right? Wrong. Shoot him. Woo! He's gonna stop. Woo! Woo! Shoot him. Woo! Woo!
Where'd he come from?
I have no idea. I didn't see him till he was right here. Well, do you want to say anything about that stand?
What's that?
Do you want to say anything about that stand?
Not really.
It happens to us all. Well, I hate to end it on a miss, but misses happen to us all. It's just part of hunting. Like when I was in Mozambique, Africa, having brandies and met Tom Miranda, he said, you got to keep it real. You got to show your misses and keep your content real. So we do that here at PWH. A little bit later, after the captain got over the miss, he told me that he left the scope cranked up, and when that coyote come in, it surprised him, come out of nowhere. It looked like we should be able to see for miles, and it just appeared. He said he tried to whoop it, wouldn't stop, put the scope up. It was cranked. He couldn't find it right away. Turned it down, and by that time, all of us are flustered. You make a bad trigger pull, it takes off. You do it again, and it's just one of those stands that happens. That's why a number of years ago, you always go through, and I still forget to this day, but you do your best to remember. Okay, your pre-stand, pre-stage, and PRS checklist, and you go through. Are the scope covers open? Do I have one down the pipe? Is my parallax set? Is the zoom turned down? Double check the wind. Can you move your bipod? The legs are snapped down properly. Just, it's tough enough to call a coyote and have them come in and put it down with the factors you can't control, like wind, temperature, area, other hunters, vehicles, the posting of land, what's being planted in the crop that year. There's so many factors you can't control. If you go through a checklist to ensure that you don't make mistakes on the factors that you can control, you'll be way more successful. That's the lesson for today. Well, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Predator World Hunting. We'll have another one for you in a week. Cheers.